Hello survivors, and welcome to episode 11 of our Overlord series. In today's video we are playing the Arcane Weaver and we have a brittle build going for us. It's actually going to be brittled and exposed, but focusing on the brittle because we're going to be using the Arcane Explosion, which gives us the number of stacks of brittle dealt damage, or damage dealt by the number of stacks of brittle on the target. So, you know, another stacking build. And we've got quite a lot of skills that apply brittle on the Arcane Weaver. We've got Arcane Missile, we got Arcane Beam, and those are the only two we're going to actually be using. We are going to be running Arcane Missile, Heat Explosion, Arcane Beam, and Arcane Shield. Arcane Shield is going to be the first time I'll probably use this, and the last time. I'm only using it to demonstrate a good way of, or good thing that it is capable of, but other than that, because of the way that it works, it's actually not that good and requires way too much investment into the skill to be pretty decent. And then after that, we are going to be running Holy Beam and Light Beam. So Ruins, Weapon Expert, Endless Refill, Reroll Mastery, Multicast Mastery, Divine Legacy, Synergetic, and Sure-Footed. Let's get straight into it and roll this off. Now in the beginning, the Arcane Weaver will feel very slow. He will be one of the characters where we do focus on his ascension as well. And the only reason we don't actually go completely full Arcane here is because of the synergy or the skill chain passives that go from skill X to skill Y. So everything that are, you know, the holy to arcane, hopefully it'll be more prominent so that our arcane skills get more of that crit chance, crit multicast, as well as damage. And let's see how that goes though. I mean, it is all pretty much RNG based. Even getting the skills we need are going to be pretty RNG based, as you can see. There's Holy Beam, so that's good. Going to grab the area of effect over here. We don't need the damage on that. And then of course get ourselves some Merciless, because we're not going to have any way to do crit damage. We will have crit chance from those synergy skills, so that at least is going to be pretty good for us. And then for a change, we are going to run ourselves, we're going to lock the potency there. We are going to run ourselves into the corner just because it will make things a lot faster, and we'll try and finish this as quickly as possible and see if we can kind of ignore the totems or the pylons as much as possible, but we might have to land up destroying them depending on how things go. Not looking the best in terms of the arcane skills we're getting, but at least we do get the light beam now, so we do get some exposed damage coming off. And now because we do have two holy skills as well, we should start seeing the holy to arcane or arcane to holy grades. Alright, we want everything that says Arcane Explosion on it, whether it's damage, area, cast frequency, multicast, it doesn't matter. As long as it is for Arcane Explosion, we are going to take it, and that's because that is our main damage dealing source, so it just makes sense to use it. There's our Arcane Beam, and that's the skills. That is fantastic, and there we go, Arcane to Holy to start off the skill chain. We're not really interested in skill chain as much as we are in the general, in the damage typings and things like that, but of course getting it does help a lot. And then like I mentioned, this will be one of those where we do actually care about the passives for the ascension and getting our ascension up and running as quickly and as often as possible, and that is because of the amount of multicast that it gives us. It's just completely insane, so it just makes sense to run as much of it as possible. Ooh, got a lucky block off there, which is really good. Just need to time our dodges a little bit well for this, otherwise we could take a really lethal hit, but we do get our ascension up, and that's going to just knock the bosses for us with that multicast. Fantastic. Alright, if we get more of those turrets, more of these pylons to spawn, then we will end up getting rid of them. But until then, I think we're in a good spot. Over there, we can just reroll, grab that. There we go, Holy Guidance, giving us damage for our Arcane. That is beautiful. And then over here, multicast there, and we'll grab the multicast for magical. We're not really worried about the general multicast. Okay, We'll grab these two, why not? And we can actually banish that, get our cast frequencies going, crit damage, some cast frequency there, and a multicast over there. So far this is looking really good for us. Again, cast frequency going to be a very good thing for us to grab because we want to get as much brittle stacks as possible. Because this isn't one of those where we have to, get every skill's cast frequency down, we don't necessarily have to worry about a lot of them, but it does obviously help with damage and just overall, making it a lot easier. So getting yourself that, it's going to give us more stacks of purity, it's going to give us more stacks of brittle, more stacks of exposed, and so on and so forth, which means that we're going to be healing more, we're going to be doing more damage, and so on and so forth. So now we've got two of these pylons up and running. I think we're going to go and destroy at least one. It's right there, so it doesn't really cost us too much, but our ascension is down, which is a bit of a problem. Multicast over there, we can get the multicast burst and a damage over there. Fantastic. Getting quite a few legendaries out of Divine Legacy, which is great to see. But just look how gorgeous this damage is on all these bosses. This is looking fantastic. Alright, bosses are already down. Get our ascension up in one more of these crystals, which means that we'll just be able to kill things a lot faster as well. Grabbing the damage over there, we do want the crit. Grab that area of effect as well. Damage for burst, there's a skill chain, and we'll get that skill chain there. I should have locked the Holy Garlands as well, because that's more crit or damage or multicast for our arcane skills. But I didn't pay attention too well over there, so that's a bit unfortunate. Alright, so the thing with arcane power, right, as you can see, even though we've been getting damage for arcane skills and things like that, have we actually? Let me just double check. We got multicast. There we go, damage modifier. So even though it's got ourselves, what's that, 314% damage on other skills, or 224 over here, this one over here, there is no damage upgrades. Now, even though it is arcane, it's not benefiting from those damage things. Buffs don't get those, so it's not going to be benefiting us, which is really, really bad. And it means that we need to then focus on things like the cast frequency over here, as well as potency buffs or damage for arcane will affect only the arcane. But getting those skill chain skills, or the skill passives from X to Y, does not affect buffs, and therefore things like the arcane power and so on and so forth don't work really well. Now over here we've got a bit of a boo-boo. I never counted my levels, unfortunately, so we got to lose both the cast frequency and a little bit of multicast on our light beam, but that's okay. As you can see, we're still completely destroying the bosses, which means we're still in a very, very good spot over here. Just dodge out of the way of that boss. Take a little bit of damage over there. Arcane power will be getting rid of some of the damage that we'll take, but it doesn't really stop all of it. Now, the only reason we did take it is because later on, as we know, the damage that you can get, receive from like the burn on the floor and things like that can be ridiculous, and just being able to mitigate that is going to be really, really good. So that's what the Arcane Shield is for. It's the only reason for it, and it's only going to be used probably in this video unless I do something memey with it in the future. But otherwise, it's just going to be what it is. So over here you can see the damage modifier. We're on 39 shield health. If we grab it over there, we still stay on 39 shield health. So I don't know if it is supposed to be like that. Maybe it's bugged. But I think it is supposed to actually go up when you get specific arcane power-ups, or maybe it is just bugged. I do know if you grab the potency for it, it does increase, but it should be going up with the damage modifiers from those other modifiers. So I don't know, it's weird that it's not working. If it's not supposed to work that way, then maybe it needs to be something that's changed to maybe work that way, because not having it work that way does make it that buffs are really, really going to be more and more useless as you progress further on into the game. and things like that. It's making buffs more null and void as we progress, and that's not something you want. You want to maybe sometimes use a buff, or I mean that would probably explain why Scent of Blood feels a lot less strong as it used to be, because the potency and everything now no longer works with swing upgrades where it used to before, as far as I understood it. But you know, these things happen. Alright, so as you can see, we are giving the prophetess her own magic back with our laser beam of holy missiles. This is going to hurt. Luckily we dodged that just in time. And then we can grab a little bit more agility, grab ourselves a bit of armor, because why not? There we go. Oh, that just made up for everything. That beautiful cast frequency, just like that. And this one's really going quick. It's been a really good run. Visually though, I think Holy Beam is doing quite a bit of work visually, but whether or not it's actually doing stuff is another story. Arcane Missile going crazy over here with a 0.3 cooldown. That's okay as well. We do need to get our Ascension back up and running though as well, because it is at that point where it's down, and I think the bosses are going to be spawning relatively soon. However, we only need to grab one more crystal and then it's full, so we need these bosses to spawn very soon, otherwise it's going to be kind of a waste. Still not an 8-minute run, which is a bit unfortunate. So the bosses take a little bit of time to spawn, so we're just going to wait a little bit before we activate that. But here's a cast frequency. We don't need that much more cast frequency. There's a potency, so we go from 39 to 53. So I think what the damage numbers do, they increase the amount of damage that the shield does when it breaks. But the potency increases how much shield health you have. So yes, you're still going to benefit from all those other things, but not as much as you would from potency, because potency is what you really want when you're playing Arcane Shield. You want to be able to shield your life more, not do the damage. But let's keep going. We're going to go through here. We'll see you guys on the other side. I have decided that we are going to be following up from here. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to note is Arcane Shield. The way that it works is the way that I mentioned. If we grab a damage increase for Arcane, it's going to increase the damage per health increase, so the 139 will go up, and then every potency you upgrade is going to increase that shield health. Now we're looking only for the potencies. Of course, damage per health does help, obviously doing damage, but we're not really looking for that. And why am I doing this on Overlord Cycle 3? Well, the reason for that is because we actually died twice accidentally. We do take a lot of damage, so we do have to just be really careful. So I thought, just in case I do die in this, at least I'll be able to show you what the build looks like and how it performs. And as you can see, we are it's okay. It doesn't actually kill things as quickly as we would want, so that's the reason why we're struggling to do things. Having only the one Arcane Beam just doesn't feel like I've put enough points into Arcane Beam or or Light Beam. Otherwise they would be carrying us a lot more. But the fact that we have the Arcane Shield over here is definitely saving us from a bit of HP loss, which is fantastic. As you can see, we still do a decent amount of damage to the bosses, but again, not like a lot of the other builds that we play. With this one, even though we do have quite a lot of area of effect on some of our skills, we still need to get really close to the bosses, especially for the Arcane Missile to do its thing. And with Arcane Missile being on such a low cooldown, that's what we really want to get into the bosses with, and we just can't seem to get there with our current AoE size. So maybe getting even more AoE could be a plan. Grabbing ourselves crit damage over there, more life, because again we do need that juicy life. Area of effect over here, actually crits might be better. Yeah, we're only sitting on 64 crits, that's at least 80. Grab that, grab the damage upgrade. We don't need more cast frequency on things. I mean, we can grab it, but it's still pretty good. And then I've been going quite defensive. I've been getting quite a lot of life upgrades and quite a lot of armor upgrades, because I feel like we can tank a lot more. If I'm a little bit more tanky, we should be able to push that bit further. So if we make it to at least Overlord 5, I should be happy with this build. I just feel like the damage is lacking in area. Not the damage is lacking, but more the area is lacking for this build. And if you spend a little bit more in area, you should be all Gucci with it. But unfortunately, I didn't invest that much into the area as I should have. Still can, it's not that it's over or anything like that, but we would be in a better place right now if I did do that. Alright, Arcane. Grab ourselves more damage, area of effect for Arcane, that's beautiful. Over here we can take all 3 of these, multicast there, and then when we level up we'll grab the other 2. There's one more, we get a triple, okay. We'll grab the Holy Gardens, that gives us the multicast. Grab the Arcane Knowledge for even more multicast, and just remember that our Ascension is going to make the multicast even higher, so we just got ridiculous numbers of multicast right now on everything, which is really cool. Although I don't think it affects personal spells, but more our character stat sheet, so it wouldn't be as good. We need to get those multicasts on our actual stat sheet. Like over here you can see we only are sitting on 30%, but I don't think it affects the actual skills, so we'll have to double check that, unfortunately, but that's just how I read it as. Okay, so we do have it up right now. We were on 30, it's gone up to 92. Plus the 484 that we've got over there. So, I mean, it's still quite a lot of multicast chance, so it's sitting at a really good amount. We're sitting at about 5 guaranteed casts of a skill, which is cool. So you got to understand how many casts Arcane Missile is putting off when it's sitting at a 0.2 second cooldown. So it's 5 casts a second already without multicast, and then it's going to be multicasting 5 times. So every second we've got 25 missiles going off, and then it also shoots more than 1 missile per projectile or per cast. So we've got a lot of missiles on there, and that's why skills like this really do tank your PCs quite a lot with performance and things like that. And it's why a lot of people struggle to run a build like this on here, especially if you're going to be running a lot of multicast, a lot of cast frequency and things like that. But we actually did a lot better over here with the Overlord. We did actually manage to get a lot further than I thought I would be. I thought we would have died by now, but that's okay. We did actually banish cast frequency for Arcane Missile now, because you can't go lower than 0.2 seconds, so there was no point in going any higher than that with cast frequency. So we got rid of it. It gives us more passives in the future as well. Alright, we'll just get to the end of Overlord 4 over here. Oh, we're only on 4 now. Yeesh. Okay, I thought we were slightly further. It's because I lost so many lives, I thought we were going to die. I mean, it can happen anytime. But I think Arcane Shield's doing a little bit of work for us over there. You can see we take damage, but our life doesn't go down. That is because of the Arcane Shield. And it does protect us quite a lot against all of the negative effects on the floor, like the poisons and stuff like that. So that's the reason why we took it. but that's just how it is. So we're going to go to the end of 4, just because I think if we go any further, I'm going to break something, and we don't want that. I'm going to grab area of effect. We can grab some crit there because it keeps screaming at me to grab that rare crit. Grab ourselves some more armor. Damage for modifiers, so just a good example over here. So right now it's on 22689. If we grab that, it goes 89238. So it does work, it just increases the damage per health, and then the potency increases the shield health. So I don't know, for me, personally, I would like to go for more potency on it. But it's really up to you guys what you want from the skill. I think a lot of us only want potency from it. And then our damage seems to be limited to how far or close we are to the enemy. Ooh. See, this is what we were worried about. As you can see, our life just goes down. Although we do have purity and quite a lot of it, as long as our arcane shield is down, we are going to take a lot of damage. And that is a bit of a problem for us because we don't want to take damage. We want to kill everything and not be killed. So the fact that we have to worry about that is bad, but it is what it is. I mean, these builds can't be perfect. Of course, there are ways to make them. Like if you had to go 6 arcane beams, then you wouldn't have to worry about this. You would insta-kill all of the enemies and everything around you. But we said from the very start of the series that we weren't going to be touching singular focus, because that's just a cheese. I think every build has a skill that you can singular focus to really just do one thing, or you can just use arcane mastery, arcane beam, skill inclination, and then you can have it on absolutely any character. So it really is just a cheese. It would be funny if, you know, we did a series where we only played with one build on every single character. I mean, it wouldn't actually be funny, it would be quite boring, but just to see, you know, which characters essentially could push them the furthest. I don't know. Nah, I'm not going to do that. It's just something interesting for you. Maybe if you guys wanted to do that at home or something. But I can already tell you Paladin will probably win that. Ooh, that was a lot of damage. Luckily, this is going to be the last Overlord cycle for me because lately we've been hitting a lot of, you know, death screens. I actually need to concentrate here and kill these bosses. There we go. I mean, look at that, we nearly died there, so that was really bad. We're just going to push this because we're going into the blue portal. It doesn't really matter, but get rid of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's just check what we got as the main skill damage and go from there. So it was light beam. Ow. Was it the multicast? Did it make that much difference? I mean, this even had more crit. More crit, more damage. Cast frequency shouldn't matter. Oh, because it hits more times as well. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But light beam dealt the most amount of damage. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.